Live from New York. It's the show.
It's the most important show we've ever done.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
Oh!
What I tell you.
Oh my gosh, you know what that means?
For upset alert.
Oh,
Let's
why
go.
one person here?
Wildes, I am, and you guys can't see it, but I'm flat-footed.
Okay.
I am mustering as much bass as possible in my voice.
Doesn't sound like it, but
I am saying this with full confidence, full-throated.
Okay.
Bills, Bills, Bills.
Oh, it's like a Destiny's Child song.
I mean,
That's right. The Bills will end Kansas City's season this weekend.
Okay.
A season that has been one of a lot of misery for them that we haven't seen in a long time for Kansas City. All right. Now, look, Nick, here's why. I think Buffalo, at least over the second half of the season, has been the better team. Chiefs played 500 football over the second half of the season.
True.
All right. Buffalo has beaten better teams. They've beaten 6 playoff teams. Kansas City's beaten 1, and that was the breakdance in Miami Dolphins. All right. And, of course, Buffalo's at home. They are much better at home. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is much better at home. The turnover-prone, reckless Josh Allen, more so on the road, not at home. And Kansas City, I think, is going to go down because of that. We can see Josh Allen's playoff mark. He's not just good on the road. Look at the playoffs, Josh Allen, Nick. He's better in every category. Like the TD percentage, the interception percentage, his passer rating goes way up. He is a better player. Now, I know, he's had some astronomically good playoff games against the Chiefs, obviously, and he's had some mediocre ones. But overall, he's a better quarterback in the playoffs than he is in the regular season. And so I do think that Buffalo will win this game. I think it's their time. And I think the Chiefs will go down.
Fork in the road moment for this show.
Drew, I respect the pick. You know how much I respect you.
I know you fear it because of upset alert.
And I listen. This show is based on chemistry, and I hope this doesn't break that. Because I don't question your integrity ever.
You don't think
I think you have a little fear in your voice. I didn't hear bass. I heard trepidation.
Yeah.
I can't see your feet.
There's respect.
But I don't see. I don't feel like there's 10 toes down. And here's where I'm at. I've got Kansas City, and I've got Kansas City not in a great game. I've got Kansas City by 10 points, and I've had to sit here and listen to nonsense all week about these two teams whose resumes are identical, about these two teams who we heard about. I've heard from Coach all week about how mediocre Patrick Mahomes played on Saturday night. That mediocre performance, which also doubles as literally the greatest postseason performance in negative degree weather ever. And if you don't think it affects how you throw the ball, check literally any other playoff game played in those conditions. I heard so many tiny violins for the injuries Miami was dealing with, and not a mumbling word about TJ Watt missing the game Josh Allen played in. I've had to sit here all week and all year and hear about a broken, befuddled Kansas City Chiefs team. And what we're going to see on Sunday is Patrick Mahomes dissecting what's left of the Bills defense. What we're going to see on Sunday is what Bills fans, if they're being honest, see in their nightmares to this day, which is Travis Kelce running roughshod over that defense. Travis Kelce, who had in their first playoff matchup 115 and 2 touchdowns, their second playoff matchup another 100 and a touchdown, and oh yeah, by the way, the game-winning score on Matt Milano, who obviously is no longer playing or is out injured. Buffalo hasn't faced anything close to Kansas City's defense, and when they have faced great defenses,
they actually played them this year.
No, can't face anything close to Kansas City's defense. I'm sorry, I should have said this part because I skipped that part of it. During this hot streak, it started with Kansas City, and since then, what have we seen? What have we seen,
technically
Drew?
be during the
okay,
hot
you
streak?
understand what I'm saying.
They started the hot streak by beating Kansas City's defense.
That is correct. And since then, what we have seen Buffalo do is have intermittent spurts of excellent offense and intermittent spurts of their defense getting picked apart by whether it's Easton Stick or Bailey Zappi, or last week I watched Mason Rudolph move the ball up and down the field on him. So I don't think they have the personnel. I do think that the rest edge, in this case, it's unfortunate, but it matters. I think the injuries are unfortunate, but they matter. And there is next man up, but to be fair is fair. This is much like when Kansas City played Buffalo the first time, and it mattered that Isaiah Pacheco and Donovan Smith and both starting linebackers were out. You can't, in my opinion, look at this game and say Buffalo is going to be able to deal with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, because I don't think they're going to be able to double them both, and I think they're going to need to.
Can I say that you're right? They are banged up.
Yeah.
Picking them, they've been banged up all year, and they have somehow made it work. And as much as you talked, and rightly so, about how great the Chiefs' defenses have been, they second in the league in scoring defense.
Yeah.
Buffalo's fourth. Buffalo allows one more point per game than Kansas City does. So Buffalo's got a good defense in the midst of all the injuries, because Milano and Ward, they've been out for a while. They still have done it on defense. So I got 27-24 Buffalo.
Are you worried that every team, you're going to be mad at me, but I'm over here trying to spit facts because it does worry me. Are you worried that every team that has scored 21 against the Chiefs has beaten the Chiefs? No. And since they changed out their offensive coordinator, the Bills have scored 21 every single game except for one game, and it was against the Chiefs, which they won. Here's why I'm not. Because the flip side to that stat is, I've been trying to tell you, your stat, if the Minnesota Vikings or the Miami Dolphins in losses had gotten to 24 points when the Chiefs scored more than that, that stat would be gone. It would make the Chiefs' defense worse, and your stat would be gone. I'm just saying,
so it's a weird spot.
I don't
where
think, Nick,
go ahead.
I don't think they, correct me if I'm wrong, only playoff team they scored more than 21 against is Miami. Out of the 4 losses, obviously.
Yeah.
The 4 losses against playoff teams,
Lions.
They haven't gotten to that
but
point. So
the point
a
that
better
I was,
defense can hold them down.
The point that I was trying, so I don't buy that. And the point that I was trying to get to was, when the Chiefs scored 21, they're undefeated. They're now 9-0 on the season. Yeah. So that's the flip side to that stat. Do I think Buffalo is going, but what it took in the first matchup against the Chiefs to hold them out, in addition to not having Pacheco and not having their left tackle who they will have tonight, would take away even the play where they would have, I think, had 24, which was, of course, the play that was called back due to penalty, the Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce moment, that was the fact that they turned the ball over twice early. I totally understand that is on the board here. Brew did something interesting yesterday, which I don't disagree with, but he called a clean game for Josh Allen, only 1 turnover, which is not a clean game by any real metric, but what you're saying is not just a surplus of turnovers. I trust the Chiefs and I trust Mahomes to not put the ball in jeopardy. I think the reason they have struggled in the red zone in their last 2 wins with the starters is because he has understood, you know what? With the way our defense is playing, we only need field goals in these spots. We don't need to try to fire it into these tight windows, but it doesn't mean he can't fire it into these tight windows if they get in a shootout. But the last point is, the Chiefs don't get in shootouts in either direction. You can say they're not scoring the way they used to, which is accurate. They have allowed 30 points once in 2 years. And so the old Chiefs of, beating teams 38-35, that happened in the Super Bowl, and it's the only time it's happened in the last 35 games the team has played that they've allowed 30 points. So do I think Mahomes, with Rashee Rice playing the way he is, with Kelce, I think the week off helped him playing the way he did despite the drops, do I think that they have enough to score 27 points against this Bills team? 100%.
All right, Josh Allen riding a 6-game win streak. What would a loss say about Josh Allen?
Well, it would mean this mini era of Bills football in its current iteration is over, and it failed. That's what it would mean. I don't know if they're going to do what Brew thinks they should do and fire the coach. And they're obviously, listen, Josh is firmly entrenched as he should be. He's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. But they will have to make some major change. If in back-to-back years in round 2, the other contenders or champion, in this case, in your conference, comes into your building, as Brew would put it, makes themselves a sandwich, puts on your Versace robe, sees what's on TV, sits in your comfortable chair, and kicks their feet up, something's got to change. And I know we're like, oh, Josh Allen's Brett Favre. Josh Allen's if they lose this week, what they are, and we can show it to you, is Phil Rivers Chargers. And you can say that's not fair. Here's Phil Rivers' Chargers at their apex. The records, the same. The division titles, the same. The offense and defensive points, shockingly, are damn near identical. Both won AFC Championship appearance, both 4 divisional round appearances, and the playoff win-loss is a little odd there because those Charger teams had 3 byes. The Bills, obviously the bye system has changed, so they could get further in the playoffs without it, where they had 2 byes, pardon me. And so I don't think that and what happened to that team? They ran into Brady a couple times. They also ran into Big Ben once. Like, you had the legend. You had another guy who won a title. This team's run into Mahomes now 3 times, Burrow in the intermittent year. If you go 0 for 4 in those 4 matchups, what are you? Because those teams, those quarterbacks are not going anywhere. So if that happens, that's what they are no matter what people think they could or should be, Brew.
Well, you talked about the team, and I agree with you on that. As far as Josh, how he'll be viewed, it totally depends on how he plays. If he goes out there like he did in 2021, throws for 300 plus, 4 touchdowns, no picks, like plays a great game, then and they lose because the defense couldn't hold down Mahomes, then how do you kill him? You're right. They're going to have to make major changes. But Josh Allen and his reputation will be safe. If he goes out there, and this is more likely if they lose, plays a mediocre to bad game and has a good number of turnovers, then it becomes, and we like making cross-sport comps on here. And I already think this is the case. He's like Russell Westbrook. Now, Westbrook at least did get to a championship game, but Westbrook going to be a Hall of Famer, all-time great. But the question has always been, with him as your main or one of your 2 main guys, can you win a championship with his style of play? And I think that's what people will say about Josh Allen if he doesn't play well in this game. It'll be like, oh, he's a light show during the regular season, but can you win with a guy that's that volatile and you have no idea how many turnovers he's going to have, or is he going to be reckless?
Stylistically, Wildes, the Russ comp works better. His career arc, I think Dame Lillard comp works better. Dame, he made 1 conference finals too. It wasn't particularly close. His limitation was
he was never on a team. But wouldn't you agree? Like I think you could argue Josh had a team that he's had receivers, he's had good defenses.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
That's
I don't think
fair.
Dame ever had that until this year.
That's fair. If they lose this game, then the best win of Josh's career will have been a loss. That's what it is.
Right.
Like
Best performance.
No, but the signature game, I shouldn't say the best win.
Right.
The signature game of this miniature era will have been a game they lost. They don't. That's the point I was trying to make yesterday, Wildes, when we were talking about the quarterbacks he's beaten in the postseason.
Right.
There isn't. It's not that you have to always win. You know what I mean? Obviously, nobody does. Brady didn't. Manning obviously lost to Brady a bunch before he got over on him. Mahomes lost to Brady and Burrow. But there is not a single playoff duel that Josh Allen has won.
There are athletes like that. What's the thing we remember most about Jerry West?
The one in
MVP
the finals?
in a loss.
Sure.
Finals loss. Dominique Wilkins. Battling Larry Bird one-on-one in a loss. There are great players that's the case for. It'll be for him until he wins it.
What?
I didn't say it.
They had back-to-back home playoff games last year, too, right? They hosted Miami because they won the division. They hosted. Okay. I was just checking. Was Dion on that team? He was? Okay.
That was an awesome quote. You were mad at that quote?
No, it's just
Hey,
just
that
some
was
context.
flat-footed. That was based.
I was just context.
I mean, if you're a
at
Chiefs
home.
fan, you got to be a little worried about the way dude was talking.
Yeah, he's like, hey, we're going to
That-
win.
Like, we about to be, exactly.
Our Bills against quarterbacks at home, 180 yards, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, passer. I mean, granted they're banged up, but it's pretty good. Any chance Mahomes falls flat, bro? Do you see it happening?
Well, look, and I got to say this because I am known as the Mahomes guy.
No, that's a now
it's
defunct
official.
publication, sadly. I don't even know if that archives are going to be there.
Love to Sports Illustrated.
Absolutely.
Much love. Very
Some people say the
sad
downfall
day.
was quoting you.
But I am the first to say he was Jordan. Somebody said that yesterday.
Yeah.
I never think Patrick Mahomes is going to fall flat. What I think will happen is that Kelsey, I don't think is what he used to be. I mean, Travis Kelce, now he did have some good plays last week, But I don't recall seeing him drop balls like that in playoff games. I know he's had drops here or there. Rice is good, but Rice is one guy. And I don't think the other receivers will step up. And I think Mahomes will have a solid game. I think there will be some turnovers. But it's hard for me to say he's going to fall flat. But look at this postseason for Patrick Mahomes away from Kansas City. Now, I know all those games were Super Bowls, but still, away from Kansas City, his numbers have dropped dramatically.
Those games away from Kansas City, by chance, did they at the end of it be like, hey, who was the best player in this game and give an award for it? And did he win it twice?
Well, he did come back and win, but I'm just saying the numbers, his overall performances, and even in the San Francisco comeback, which he was great, he had a couple of interceptions. You know how great I think he is, but the numbers are the numbers. Yeah. And he has not performed.
We're calling not in Kansas City Super Bowl.
Yeah. Right, but that's all we have right now. This game is going to be in Buffalo, away from Kansas City. First time he's ever done that in the postseason outside of the Super Bowl.
I'm going to say no to that.
Right.
I'm going to say no.
It's still a postseason game.
I wasn't asking you, did he win? I was asking at the end of those games, did they vote on who was the best player in the game? And two of those three games, he won MVP. Yeah. So, all right, listen, I feel like there has somehow been wild disrespect thrown towards the most talented player, I believe, in league history. A guy who is already one of the 5 greatest quarterbacks ever if he never plays again. Everyone acknowledges that. A guy who is hands down the best player in the league. So I will quickly, off the top of my head, I will try to do this in less than 90 seconds, tell you Patrick Mahomes' postseason history. His first game ever was a blowout win to get the Kansas City Chiefs to their first AFC title game in a quarter century and their first one at home in a half century. They've now hosted 5 straight. The second one, he was down 14-0 to Bill Belichick and Tom Brady at halftime. They ended up scoring 30+. He had 3 fourth-quarter comebacks. They lost in overtime, and amazingly, they didn't change the rules. The third one, they were down 24-0, and they were up at halftime. The fourth one, they were down 10-0 and up at halftime. The fifth one, they were down 10 with 6 minutes to go in the Super Bowl and won by 11. The sixth one.
Who were some of the receivers?
There was Tyreek Hill, but I'll get to the ones without Tyreek Hill. The sixth one, if I may, he beat Baker Mayfield, which he's the only person ever doing in the postseason despite being choked out. The seventh one, he hung 38 on these Bills to beat Josh Allen. The eighth one was the Super Bowl against the Bucs. It didn't go so well. So how did he respond? The ninth one was better than a bye, 5 touchdowns. The 10th one, who was after that? Oh, that was the 13-second game against these guys. The 11th one, Joe Burrow got him in the second half. And then from there, the 12th one, he got a high ankle sprain, came back and won the game. The 13th one, he played on one leg with all his receivers out of that game and found a way to win. The 14th one, he had another double-digit playoff comeback, and last week was the best game ever played in negative degrees in NFL history. So no, I don't think he's going to fall flat against the Bills this weekend. I think he's going to remind everyone why he's the best player in the league and why everyone needs to stop messing around with these foolish quarterback rankings and all this nonsense.
We saw him look like the best player in the league.
Well, I hope you're watching in 50 hours because you'll be able to see it again.
You say that before every game.
No, I don't, bro. I absolutely
do
not.
You've been saying that they're going to
win the Super Bowl, and I'm still saying it.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot this year, 20-0, never in doubt.
The 20-0's been gone. The never in doubt still there.
Of course it's been gone because it ended in the first game.
Yes.
Do a rough turn there, huh? It's not all ice cream and
Who you got?
I've got the Chiefs just rationally. I just think...
Rationally? There's no reason to think the Bills can beat them?
No.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.